How you guys doing? It's 514 Mystic from BookieBullies.com, and this is Breaking Down the Books. Last 2 days that we seen each other, Friday, Thursday, Horrible went 5 of 26. 5 of 26 in the last 2 days, which is horrible. Over the weekend, had a couple winners. Yesterday wasn't so good. I don't do shows on the weekend, so you guys will never know unless you follow me on Twitter. But horrible last few days. I mean, I guess it's justified because, we've been killing it so far. You can't be killing it all the time. Eventually, when the bookies start getting broken down and beaten up and crying home to their moms, then they call their big brothers. Their big brothers come through and they take some of that money back that you've been taking from them. And that's just how it goes down sometimes. But it's a new week. There's new bookies to bully, and we're out here to do what we gotta do, man. So starting from the top, got some NHL, short slate of NHL, also Monday Night Football. You know how that goes. So plenty of opportunities all around to make money, and let's get it popping. Starting with the first game, we got the Washington Capitals versus the Anaheim Ducks. Now, the last time these two teams seen each other was last year, or last season rather, and Anaheim had their number, Washington. So it's and obviously Washington was favored in that game also. Washington been a top heavy team since winning the cup, a little bit before winning the cup. So that's something to look at. Anaheim basically has their number for the last 2 years since 2018. Um, doesn't look so good for them. Washington's 10-4 at the spread in the last 14 games. Total's gone over in 13 of their last 16. Anaheim, on the other hand, 1-6 at the spread in their last seven, 1-5 in their last six overall, and the over has gone over 4 of the last 6 games that they played against Washington. Now, obviously, these two teams are trending in different directions. Um, and if you wanted to bet on Anaheim, then I would suggest this would be the night. If they could bounce back against anybody, it's a team that they have their number, and that's Washington. Washington is not paying very much money today. 1.5 as the 1.5 at the spread is paying. It's not paying that much. One of the books I'm looking at right now is paying 180, and the other book that I'm looking at is paying 210. So if you could get it anywhere above that 210, it might be worth it. But I don't like Washington here. I like Anaheim for the upset, despite being on a nasty losing streak. I know it sounds bad. And because it sounds so horrible, I'm going to give you the over 6.0 in this game for Washington to keep on going over like they usually do. Next game, we got the LA Kings versus the Arizona Coyotes. Coyotes, a very good team. They know how to pace the game. They know how to do what they got to do, and I think they're going to be able to do that against this team here today in LA. LA's playing on the road, not very good on the road at all. I like the under in this game. What I like even more than the under is Arizona to cover the minus 1.5. And I think I'm going to give that as an official play. So I'll give them both. You can't parlay them, unfortunately. And if you want to pick Arizona, I mean, Arizona, they're not paying that much. $60, 60 cents on your buck. You might be able to get a little bit less than that, maybe 45 cents on your buck. If you guys follow me, you know that I don't like to give like plays that are paying too little. I don't mind giving them every now and then, but like in a situation like a short slate like today, I would rather just go with Arizona to cover minus 1.5, live with the results, and get to battle again tomorrow. We're gonna move along to the Monday Night Football game where we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the LA Charger. Kansas City hasn't covered the spread in 2 weeks, I want to say. Doesn't look so good for them. Mahomes is back. Not a bad look for him. But you're facing a bad boy LA Chargers defense. The defense in LA has been their run defense rather has been really good. But you're dealing with a guy with a crazy arm and who's very unorthodox in Patrick Mahomes. I like the minus 5.0 for a bounce back game here. 52.5 is the total. I'm gonna stay away from a total in this game and just give one pick, and that's gonna be the Kansas City Chiefs minus 1.5 for the win. Give me that. Let's move on to other things and keep this shit short. Starting this week, I'm obviously today's a short show because it's a short slate of games in hockey and and obviously just one Monday Night Football game. There's a decent amount of basketball, but starting this week, I will be giving separate shows. If it's gonna be a shorter slate, I'll give them all on one. But if it's a long slate, Like, as in 7 games or more, I'm gonna give separate shows. So I'll give you one basketball show, one hockey show, and whichever one I see you guys are interested in more, I'll keep on. I'll give you guys more content for that. But feel free to hit me up in the comment section down below, and obviously hit that subscribe button and that notification bell in that area. And go ahead and give me a like if you're feeling these videos and liking these pics, and if you've been fading or following, whatever. I like to hear from you guys. Anyways, back to the NBA, back to the drawing board. Let's me pull up some team stats here because the NBA right now it's been trending in the same direction pretty much, like as the trends basically it's been trending in the directions that the trend has been suggesting, if that makes any sense. Trending in the same direction as the trend's been trending. No, I don't like that. Anyways, the trend's basically been hitting, if that makes any more sense than what I was saying before. And so I'm gonna pull up some of these numbers here, and starting from the top, we're gonna go with the Cleveland versus New York game. Now, Cleveland has beaten New York almost every single time they've seen each other since like 2013. And I don't think today's going to be any different. I like Cleveland to cover the 5.5. That total is a little high for my liking, but I think it could easily go over. I think these two teams could trade. But Knicks, like I said last week, the Knicks been rallying around their around their coach. They've been trying to, they like Fizdale, and they're being vocal about it. So they might come out and show some firepower, but I like the Cleveland Cavaliers to cover here today. They're not as bad as they might lead on. I might even sprinkle a little bit of money on the money line, um, just on my own personal time. But give me the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 5.5. Next game we got the Toronto Raptors versus the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte's been they've been doing pretty good. They've been winning games. They've been upsetting guys. And Toronto's on. They're finally home after a long road trip, and they got a few wins. They got a few wins. 214 is the total here. Toronto's like the one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, so look out for unders. If ever you want to put an under on a Toronto game, just make sure you know what you're doing and who know your audience basically. I want to see if Toronto's actually been going over or not, because that's important in this regard. Because if Toronto's been going under, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to keep the pace in this game. I don't think Charlotte is that good, anyways. So Toronto is in the middle of the pack at 6-6 on the total. Charlotte Charlotte is also in the middle of the pack, 6-7 on the total. Home teams matter, and as the home team, Toronto is 3-1 on the over. 8.5 is a lot of points. Let's see if there's any injuries here. Injuries matter. Injuries always matter. This is NBA, and NBA is not like the NHL. Obviously, in the NHL, injuries matter also, but not as much as in the NBA. There's a 12-man. It's a 12-man rotation. They really only use about 8 to 9 guys on any given night, unless you're the Houston Rockets and everybody's out. Ooh, Kevin Love is out for Cleveland. Yeah, Kevin Love is out for Cleveland. I don't think that changes anything. Larry Nance Jr. is also out, so they're gonna be low at they're gonna be small at the big position. Tristan Thompson should get his rebounds with flying colors. Anyways, going back to Toronto. Toronto, we still got Kyle Lowry who's out, McCall who's out, and Ibaka who's out. So same injuries, nothing different. Uh, 8.5 is a lot of points. Give me the over in that game. Moving along to other things. Indiana versus Brooklyn. Kyrie Irving he might play tonight, but as of right now, he seems to be out. Still out. Yeah, no, he's official. As of an hour ago, Kyrie Irving is not playing tonight. Brooklyn is favorite 2.0. They really shouldn't be. They won the last game that they played versus Chicago on Saturday, um, and they were underdogs in that game. Brooklyn does a better job at underdogs than they do as favored. Excuse me. Than they do as favorites. So I like Indiana here I like Indiana at the money line as underdogs in this game. They got pretty much the only injury that's a little relatively new is TJ McConnell. That's pretty much it. But TJ McConnell and Malcolm Brogdon is still out. Ooh, I don't like playing this game. I'm gonna skip over it. If anything, I'd put the under. But Brooklyn doesn't play defense, so that game could easily go over. So I don't have a play in that game. Next game we got Milwaukee versus Chicago. Milwaukee 8.5 favorite, 231 is the total. 231 is a lot of points, but you know it's crazy because last time I said it was a lot of points, they seem to go over with flying colors. So just give me Milwaukee minus 8.5. I'll live with the results in that one. They should be able to blow out this team. The only person out here is Chris Middleton, who we know is going to be out for a while. So I like Milwaukee to cover in this game. Moving along, we got the Portland Trailblazers versus the Houston Rockets. Portland is not going to be with Melo. Melo is not going to play until tomorrow. So that's going to be big for them. Portland is not good at all. They're just horrible. I don't care how many games they win. I don't care how many times they cover. I'm not rolling with Portland until next year. They got to prove to me on a consistent level that they could do what they got to do. Last time they played Houston, however, was like January of last year. They beat Houston. So that's something to look out for. We still got Gerald Green, who's out, still going to be out. Eric Gordon, who's not coming back for a while. Clint Capella, who is still out with a concussion, but he's probably going to play. So give me Houston. Westbrook's going to play, Harden's going to play. Give me Houston minus 7.5. And the 230 total should probably go under, but it should probably go under. But, anyways, another thing for another time. Next game, we got Dallas versus the Spurs. Spurs, 4.5 underdogs, 223.5 total. I feel like Popovich is going to say there's no way we lose to a team that lost to the Knicks. But then again, didn't the Spurs lose to the Knicks? Let's just make sure that I'm not talking shit here, because I feel like the Spurs lost to the Knicks. Let's just check real quick, because I feel like the Spurs lost to the Knicks. No, they did not. They beat the Knicks. So they did beat the Knicks. But anyway, styles makes matchups, and I don't think anybody on San Antonio would be able to contain or even handle the kind of pressure that Luka Doncic is going to bring to this table. I don't like a spread here. What I do like is the game to go under. San Antonio is one of the best under teams in the league. Dallas is one of those teams that they kind of play to their opponents, you know, and I like the under 223.5. If I could buy points and buy it all the way down to 230 without it costing me less than 50 cents on my buck, I'd do that only if I'm parlaying my picks. Otherwise, I like the under 223.5 in this game. And that's the only play I got in this. I'd love to put the Mavericks to cover, but I don't think the Spurs are going to continue losing for too long. And I think that this is easily a game that the Spurs could win. If anything, I would bet the Spurs money line. But Dallas is at home, and they seem to play very well at home. Um, so let's just check actually before I move along to other things. So at home, at the spread, Dallas is 1-5. So I'm way off. Dallas was better at the spread last year at home than they are this year. Give me the Spurs money line. Remember, these are all single picks, so don't go out here parlaying all these crazy things that I'm telling you over here. Give me Spurs money line, paying damn near 70 cents on my buck. Oh, sorry, $1.70 on my buck. I give them a buck, they're giving me 270 back. I like that. I like the Spurs money line over here. Give me some Spurs money line to beat the brakes off of Dallas. Let's just check before anything changes if we have any injuries in this Spurs matchup. Because man, do I like this. Man, do I like the Spurs over here. It sure doesn't look like it. Sure doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like there's any injuries. Yeah, Spurs on a 5 game losing streak. You never want to bet on the team that's been losing so much. And obviously Dallas just snapped their losing streak. But I really like the Spurs here. I really like the Spurs here. Give me Spurs money line. Live with the results. I think Pop has exactly what it takes to contain Luka Doncic. I think he's going to shock us all. Next game, we got Phoenix versus Boston. Boston, underdog for the first time this season. Second time this season. First time was versus Philly, where they justifiably should have lost. Uh, Phoenix is one of those teams that they give everybody trouble. The only player out right now is Gordon Hayward for Boston. 3.5 is the spread. Boston's on a road trip. They just lost yesterday to the Kings. I like Phoenix here, but I don't like them so favorite. 3.5 is kind of a lot. I like Phoenix money line. That total is also 226. You know what? No. Give me Phoenix minus 3.5 to cover against Boston. I don't mind losing my money on that. I really don't. I'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty sure that Phoenix is going to be able to hold it down. And even if they don't, look out for me on Twitter, 514 Mystic. If they look like they're losing early, just know I'm probably going to sprinkle a little bit of money on Phoenix to come back. And they shoot some of them, like they probably shoot the most 3 pointers in the league. They don't have the highest percentage. I think that's reserved for the Raptors, but they shoot a lot of threes and they're able to hit all around. Those guys are able to hit, and they've been playing some clutch defense. So also you got Aaron Baines who's playing his whole team, and I feel like Boston could really use that. Use that. They got Enes Kanter who's going to be in the match. Anyways, yeah, I like Phoenix here. The 226 is the total. I'm going to stay away from that total. I like Phoenix, one of the best teams in the league at the spread. Next game we got the Utah Jazz versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves might still be without Andrew Wiggins. That kind of matters. Not to me, anyways. You know, Shabazz Napier out, Andrew Wiggins out, and Okogie is also out. The only person out here for the Utah Jazz is somebody who hasn't even played, like Ed Davis. Ed Davis hasn't played in a minute. You know, so I like 9.5 is kind of a lot of points though. It's kind of a lot of points, but I don't see why they wouldn't be able to cover that. I mean, Minnesota lost the Houston Rockets with only James Harden. It was just James Harden, PJ Tucker, Austin Rivers, and Ben McLemore. Now tell me any of those other, like, if you guys are not seasoned NBA watchers, if you guys are not actual fans and you just want to bet on the sports, tell me any of those names that you guys recognize outside of James Harden. And I'm not trying to disrespect any of those guys. I know all those players I mentioned, but that's all they had. That's all they had. And they beat the brakes off of Minnesota Timberwolves. I like the Jazz to cover here because they're a better team than Houston with just those guys that I mentioned. If Houston had all their guys, I get it. They didn't even have Clint Capella who'd be able to contain a Karl Anthony Towns. Anyways, I like the 9.5 here. It's a lot of points, but I like the 9.5 here. I also like the under 219. Despite Minnesota being one of those teams who just goes over, I like the under 219 more than I like the spread. Last game on the card is Clippers. Clippers versus OKC. OKC is a 9.0 underdog. 222 is the total here. I like the under 222 because I like OKC's defense. Paul George is finally going to see his old team. Kawhi Leonard should probably be in the lineup if I'm not mistaken, but he has a knee contusion, or so they say. I feel like they're just saying that so they could avoid paying fines because $50,000 is kind of a lot every time. So Kawhi is officially questionable. Questionable doesn't sound too good, but I'm pretty sure he is gonna play with Paul George for the first time versus his whole team. Kind of, you know, unravel the try to take off a little bit of the pressure from playing your old team and take off the pressure from them maybe double and triple teaming you. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna be able to cover that spread with flying colors. And give me the spread in that game. Something's wrong. But that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna give you guys the Bookie Bullies rundown. Before I do that, I'd like you guys to go ahead and smash that like button, share, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell in that area, just so that you're advised anytime I'm posting videos like these. So starting from the top, I got the over 6.0 in the Anaheim versus Washington game. Give me the under 5.5 in the Arizona versus the Kings. Give me the Arizona Coyotes minus 1.5 to cover versus the Kings. In the NFL, we got the Chiefs minus 5.0. That's the only pick we got. In basketball, no Kevin Love. Very important. I still got the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 5.5. If you guys are looking at props, Tristan Thompson to get his rebounds is as long as he's at 10.5, should be an excellent pick. I like the 5.5 cover for Cleveland and Tristan Thompson if he's on your board. But the official play, 5.5 for Cleveland. I like the over 214.0 for Charlotte versus Toronto. I like the Milwaukee Bucks minus 8.5 to cover against the Bulls. I like the Rockets minus 7.5 to cover against Portland. I like the under 223.0 in the Dallas versus Spurs. I like the Spurs money line to beat the brakes off of Dallas. I like the Phoenix Suns minus 3.5 to cover against Boston. I like the minus 9.5 versus Timberwolves for the Utah Jazz to cover. The under 219.0 in that game and the under 222.0 as well as the cover for the Clippers. So I like the Clippers minus 9.0 and I like the under 222.0 in that game. So those picks will also be posted on my Twitter. You guys could also check it out at bookiebullies.com. Link is in the description. That's pretty much it for me. I'll tell you like I tell you all the time. Best of luck to all. Please do not bet what you can't afford to lose. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So if you want to get rich overnight, look out for me on 514 Mystic. I'll give you some uh, very high paying, high risk, high reward picks. Take them at your own risk. But if you want to just make some money and balance out your bankroll and all of that other stuff, make it to June without losing too much and winning as much as possible. Pay some bills, maybe take your wife out on a nice vacation, maybe buy a new car. Basic things like that. Incrementally increasing your bankroll. Then follow. If you don't like what you hear, you could fade or follow. I'm going to be here again tomorrow. So be good, be safe, and I'll see you again tomorrow.